This is system test 23 with fire alarm demo board number 1, and this test features a very rare pull station, which is what you're looking at now. This is a Johnson Controls SFA 102, and it's very obscure. I've never seen one of these before. The first time I saw one was when I found two of them for sale online, and I decided to buy them because I was like, wow, I've never seen one of these before. I cannot find any information about these online, no model sheets or spec sheets or anything. I think there's only one other fire alarm collector that owns one other than me, and I can't think of their name off the top of my head. But yeah, I'm sure you've probably never seen one of these before either. So, to what I understand, these were made in the 1970s based off of the date codes that are on them. Um, and back in the day, Johnson Controls really wasn't known for their fire alarms. Nowadays, I'm sure you know them. They own Simplex and AutoCall and, are pretty big into the fire alarm industry. But back in the day, they weren't. This particular pull station is actually co-branded by another old fire alarm company, and that's Standard Electric Time. They actually make the old round pull stations that are pretty famous. But Johnson Controls bought Standard Electric sometime in the late 60s or early 70s and took over their fire alarm division. And I guess they made this thing. I don't know if Johnson Controls made fire alarm panels back then or horns or strobes. So I don't know what type of systems these pull stations would have been installed on. But, anyways. So, again, they're kind of cool looking. They're very awkward pull stations. They operate just like a Firelight BG8, if you know what one of those are. You pull this door and it opens up, which releases a button on the inside. Again, I mentioned I have two of them. This is the other one here. Unfortunately, this one does not work. It's actually missing parts, so I can't use it. But luckily, this one has all of the parts on the inside, so it's able to be functional and used. It resets very strange as well. It's kind of unique, which we will talk about later. A complaint I have about one of these pull stations is it has to be mounted to an electrical box to be functional. So again, this one is not mounted, obviously, and they pretty much just fall apart. They come in pieces, and you have to assemble them anytime you want to install one. So not good for collectors because they have to be mounted if you want to pull and reset them. You can't just, mess around with them when they're not mounted. So they're very strange when it comes to that. They're plastic with a metal back plate. But anyways, I will talk more about this pull station later on. I just wanted to give an extended intro to it just because it's so obscure and rare. And again, I'm sure most of you have never seen one of these before. I surely haven't. So let's check out the rest of this system, what else is going on. So on the addressable Firelight panel, of course I have my Firelight BG12LX addressable pull station and the Firelight monitor modules. Up here is an EST Genesis remote strobe. This is an older Genesis model. It does not have fire lettering, and it has a fixed 75 candela strobe. Beside of it, we have a Wheelock EHDL1 horn, and this one actually came out of my K through 12 school. I was able to save this horn and some other devices when the system was being upgraded. This is an Edwards ionization smoke detector. It's an older model, and we will be testing it in this video. We have a Firelight SD355, yeah, that's right. I got confused for a second. It's a photoelectric addressable smoke detector. Onto the Firelight MS5UD system, the conventional system. Of course, there's the ANN80 annunciator. I have a Mircom T-bar pull station. It's all metal. It's dual action. It's pretty neat. And then I have a Grinnell pull station. This is just a rebrand of an RSG model. This one I actually got locally from a warehouse. If you watched the last system test, I mentioned where I got a BG10 out of a warehouse. The system was being replaced, and I got this same pull station from that same warehouse off of the same system. So I guess at some point it replaced an older BG10, but pretty cool though. I know it's just your normal RSG T-bar, but it's kind of cool that I got it near where I live. There's the Simplex key switch. I have a Wheelock ZNS horn strobe. This one's rebranded by Siemens, and I have no idea what candela it is on because the candela selector switch broke off. It's set to low volume code 3, actually high volume code 3, and there's a reason why. System sensor 2400, smoke detector, photoelectric. It's on the wall for this test, kind of different. I have a system sensor mass. This is the non-ADA mass. It's a ceiling mount horn strobe, and it actually, I've kind of Frankenstein this. It's originally an older first generation non-ADA mass horn strobe wall mount version, but I took one of my second generation non-ADA mass ceiling strobes and put it on the horn, just because I thought it was different. So it has the breakable tabs on the back, which I don't want to break, so it's doing the default tone on continuous, which I forget what it's called. But this thing is so loud you can't hear the ZNS, which is why it's on high volume. And then we have an Edwards heat detector. This is a fixed temperature and rate of rise heat detector. Speaking of coding, because I forgot to mention, the EH horn here is on continuous. So the panel is coding that, well, I guess coding, I don't know if that's the right word, it's just on continuous. And with this system, the ZNS is coding itself to code 3, while the mass is just on continuous. So that's everything, and I think it would be proper to start the test off with this Johnson Controls pull. Okay, here we go. Pretty loud. There's the Genesis strobe and audible silence. So yeah, that's how it's activated. And you can't see it, but there's a button on the inside, this little clear thing, release the button, which if we look at this one, there's the button on the inside. There's a clear piece that attaches here that holds the button down, as well as the handle assembly, and that's what I'm missing off of this one. That's why it doesn't work. But there's the inside. You can see it says Standard Electric Time, division of Johnson Service Company. Kind of zoom in there so you can see it a little bit better. The model is, oh, that's weird, SFA 10-1. I just realized there's a change in model. So this one says SFA 10-1, but this one says SFA 10-2. You can kind of see it there. I just noticed that. I had no idea there was a difference. So one of these is newer, the other one's older. So I don't know. That's very strange. Kind of cool though. So talking about more features with this pull station, so the only way to activate it is by pulling it. There's no key activation. And you can install a brake rod in one of these. It actually goes in this slot. But right here is a little window so you can see the brake rod. But they did something cool. There's this little flathead screw, and if I use the screwdriver, you can turn it. And if you look on the inside, there's this little bar. So they were kind of clever with this. If you needed to activate and test the pull station, but you didn't want to break the rod, you insert a screwdriver and turn it. Oops, wrong way. And if I can do it, turn it like this. So now you can see this little thing moves, so it will not break the brake rod. So that's kind of a clever design. I haven't seen any other pull station like that where you can bypass the brake rod, which again, this is the only way to activate it, but still pretty cool. Again, audible silence, and let's actually move over to this system. And what should we start with? I think the Grinnell T-bar, because we were kind of talking about it earlier. That key wasn't fitting for some reason. That's the Firelight key. I don't know why I couldn't get it to be inserted. This pull station's very stiff. It's been installed for who knows how long. That's one of my gripes with these pull stations. The longer they sit, the harder they get to pull. So this is an audible silence. Let's actually reset this system. We'll open up the 5UD panel to get the hex key, which is able to open this pull station. So we'll do this, open it up. There's the inside. You can see the RSG sticker. I don't really know what the model is. RMS1T, that's right. And reset. This pull station also had a glass rod when I got it, but I do not have it installed. And we will reset by the annunciator. I don't know why I can't use a key. I hope this key lock's not going bad. It's kind of getting stiff. I don't know what the deal with that is. It's so strange. It's actually kind of bothering me now. That's weird. Anyways, enough of that. Let's reset this pull station because it's very odd to reset. Resetting this pull station is a bit weird, I guess, but it is neat at the same time. It takes this special screwdriver bit, if my camera will focus. This, yeah, it kind of looks like a fork or something. And there's a hole on the side of the pull station with a screw on the inside that fits this screwdriver bit. And what you do, which I have to use both hands, is you insert that special screwdriver and turn clockwise, which I don't know if you can see it. I'll zoom in. Releases this little clear thing. See that? Which allows you to push the handle back up. You kind of have to push hard. And then now it's reset. I'll do that one more time. That's another awkward thing. Sometimes this handle gets stuck like that. It's not supposed to. So insert that special screwdriver, push it up with a lot of pressure, and force it back into place, which resets. It's kind of a slick way to reset the pull station. You don't have to open anything up, but still kind of weird. Okay, it's all reset. Let's reset this system, or should we re-alarm it? I think we should re-alarm it. Just to make this test a little bit interesting, let's activate this Edwards detector. Probably should have shaken that up a little more. That's a lot of spray. I think I sprayed way too much. Well, that was pretty unintentional, and that's also a sign I used way too much. This smoke detector, the reason I sprayed a lot, it's not sensitive, it's ionization. I feel like I can never get it to activate. So I used a lot, and I set off the very reliable and sensitive System Sensor 2400, one of my favorite smoke detectors, actually. So there we go. That was kind of a 2-in-1. How cool. So that system's an alarm. This one's an alarm. I want to let these air out a little bit. Let's do the simplex key switch. I have not touched that one in a while. Let me find my simplex A key, the smallest fire alarm key that I have. Probably the smallest fire alarm key in general. Okay, system silence. What else should we do? What else should we do? Maybe we can try to reset. Let's start off with this system. I actually going to remove this and kind of air it out. We should be getting a trouble. Maybe. I guess not. That's not good. There we go. And hopefully, okay, reset that. Hopefully this one's been aired out. By the way, the ZNS does not have audible silence because it's 2-wire, but this mass is 4-wire, so I can have the strobe continue to flash even though the system has been silenced. Let's reset from the panel this time and press reset. So hopefully that 2400's aired out. I think next on the agenda will be to activate this heat detector. And let's see, I was going to say something, now I forgot. So I have this little, oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to link both of these systems with this toggle switch. This switch allows both fire alarm systems to communicate with each other. So if one system activates, the other one will activate. So by setting off this heat detector, it will set off both systems. So let's do it. And we are in audible silence once again, a very loud system to say the least. So this heat detector is still fairly hot. In the meantime, let's activate this smoke detector, the Firelight Addressable. I have some smoke saber. This thing's pretty cool. And let's see if we can activate it. This one I also feel like takes a lot of smoke to activate. The 2400 strikes again and activates. See why I love these things? They're so sensitive, which is good. I sprayed both of these at the ceiling, and yet the one way over here on the wall goes off. So there you go. That's a 3-in-1. Anyways, let's re-alarm with this pull station. And re-alarm this system with the BG12LX. Okay, so that is everything on these boards activated at one point. So let's do some resetting. Let's reset this pull station, which oddly enough actually takes a simplex key. I don't know how that works, but somehow it does. The model is MS710ADU. By the way, this was addressable, but I converted it to conventional, so it works on the conventional system. Okay, I think that is everything, hopefully back to normal. So let's press, I'm going to actually unlink these panels because you have to be, well, I probably could have done it, but if you're not careful, if you don't reset one in time, the systems will re-alarm once again. Anyways, I think that will conclude this system test. I had fun with it. I hope you enjoyed watching. And I hope you found this pull station to be pretty cool, because I did. It's a very odd pull station, but definitely neat to have in the collection because of its obscurity. I love obscure fire alarms. I just like the mystery of it, if that makes sense. That these were made at some time and just were forgot about, you know, no information on them. It's just kind of interesting. I guess it makes it more special. So anyways, that's all for this system test. Once again, thank you so much for watching. And if you'd like more, check out some of the other system tests on my channel. I have a playlist full of system tests featuring both of my fire alarm demo boards. And yeah, that's everything. There's some other videos on my channel you might like as well. And check them out if you'd like. So that's it. And I'll see you in the next test.